Welcome back, guys. Today's video is going to be a little different than the last one. We're going to be talking about music. Music's one of my passions in my life. It's played such a formative part of who I am. So I wanted to bring it to the channel in some way. And what better way than a playlist, you know? When you're studying or doing homework or whatever you want to do, you know, it's good to have a nice soundtrack. So, a pretty eclectic music taste, so I hope I can put you guys onto some new music, or new to you music at least. And if you guys have any, interesting songs you want to bring my way, you can put them in the comments. So the way this video is going to work, I'm just going to talk about the first like 5 to 7 songs in the playlist, just to give you some thoughts about why I put them in the playlist, and maybe give you a vibe of like type of music I like and why I like it. So yeah, if you want to skip straight to me yapping about music part, you can go here. If not, I'm gonna give a couple disclaimers first before I really get into it. So for everyone who stuck around for the disclaimers, thank you. Really nothing too serious. I just wanted to give like a little bit of context to how I put together the playlist. So first disclaimer, I have that type of brain where I can listen to music with lyrics in it and still be able to like read or like, do homework or study and stuff like that. So the music here will have lyrics in it. So if you don't really have that type of brain or it does not something you're comfortable with, just consider this like a general, just, getting stuff done type of playlist. It doesn't have to be for studying or things like that. Disclaimer 2 is actually about study playlists. I cannot do those like lo-fi hip-hop study playlists when I'm trying to study something, because I will get really, really bored and then want to go take a nap. So I need like a good mix of like upbeat and like, I just need a good mix of things I like, ideally, to keep me engaged with what I'm doing. So don't expect this to be just like a chilled out, like mellow playlist like that. It will go through like various vibes of music. So yeah, you've been warned. Oh, and disclaimer 3, I'm not really like a playlist or a singles guy. In fact, like whenever artists I like put out singles, I actually will purposely avoid them, because I'm much more like an albums person. So for all of the songs I'm going to talk about in this playlist, I most definitely like recommend the albums for them. So I would check out the albums for any of the songs I put in this playlist. Last thing, like if you haven't noticed, I don't have my green screen back here or anything, and I'm not like scripted right now. I'm trying to just work on being like off the cuff with public speaking. So I want these to be like more, I didn't want these to be scripted. I didn't want these videos to be scripted. I want it to be more like heart to heart, just talking about music, just talking about dope shit. So I have my laptop over here for like some notes. So I might like look over there now and then just to jog my memory on something. But yeah, I just want this to be real chilled, laid back. So getting into the playlist, our first song is, I believe it's pronounced AMIRA Kitchen by Westside Gunn from the Heels Have Eyes 2 album. So I really put this song on the playlist because I think that juxtaposition is interesting. I think Westside Gunn is an interesting person in the hip hop world right now. In a way, he kind of reminds me of MF Doom, R.I.P. Doom. Not really for like their like subject matter and like musicality. Like I don't think their music is that similar. I think their approaches to artistry are very similar. Like I think it's interesting the way that Westside Gunn has built his character around himself, right? And I imagine he takes this a lot from like his love of wrestling. Like even this album's title is a reference to like wrestling culture, right? And he references wrestling like all the time. And he has his own wrestling company now, I'm pretty sure. I think it's called Fourth Rope. But he does a lot of just like theatrics of building the character of Westside Gunn. Like all rappers, well, not all rappers, most rappers are trying to sell you like an image of like, like gangster, right? And like things like that. But I think he does it in like a different way, like a much more interesting way. Like almost like he's not trying to sell gangster, he's trying to sell like villain, like villainous, That's why like his most famous run of albums is called Hitler Wears Hermes. Like the crazy album title, right? And then like the title of this album is Heels Have Eyes, you know? So he's trying to sell this like image of villainy, right? Not just like this normal gangster image, which I think he really pulls off because like he is like an elite level shit talker. He talks shit in the most interesting, like funny ways, and he 100% believes himself, dude. And it makes him such a like theatrical person in the hip hop game, which I think hip hop really needs. Like, they need entertainers and performers. He's so like entertaining in the way he presents himself. It makes me kind of want to watch his like Fourth Rope wrestling company. Like I haven't watched wrestling since I was a kid, but if he were to get on the mic on like some Vince McMahon type of shit and like start talking shit to like the wrestlers on his like roster, I think it would be pretty funny. I think he would like kill that role. So but again, getting back to this song in particular, AMIRA Kitchen, what I like about it, like I said, that juxtaposition, because the song is like so bouncy and bright and upbeat, and it contrasts with this like villainous like portrayal that Westside Gunn has built for himself. And it's not to say that Westside Gunn is like this ultra dark like rapper, right? I don't even think he's like the darkest rapper in Griselda, in my opinion. But it is like a little odd to hear him on like a beat that's so like bouncy and happy. The beat honestly reminds me of something that Mac Miller, R.P. Mac, would have rapped on like early in his career. So like this song is like if like you were watching an episode of Batman anime series and the Joker went and got ice cream, but he was still the Joker. Like he was still kind of like an asshole and a villain to everyone, but he was just getting ice cream, and like nothing really bad happened in the episode, but like he's still the Joker. Like you're like looking at him like, yeah, there's one bar in this song that has been stuck in my head recently. I think it's mainly because of his delivery of it, but the line goes, "You should have seen me doing push-ups in the cage, 100 ups, 100 dips. I'm insane." Just that delivery of when he's like, "I'm insane," has been like stuck in my head. That delivery has just been stuck in my head like past like week or two. I just can't get it out of my head. And that's probably why it's on this playlist. Okay, I gotta grab something for the next song. The next song is Holy Fucking Shit 40,000 by Have a Nice Life from the Death Consciousness album. This baby right here. This vinyl right here is my baby. I pulled it from my local record store after like months of looking for it. I just went in there one day. They had it. I bought it instantly. I think I was like on a shoestring budget. I still bought the shit. I just love this album so much. Have a Nice Life is probably also my favorite band. To like kind of give context to like what they do, who they are. They make what people call slowcore, or like even something I hear like doom rock. They basically give these like like dark dirges of like despair and like loneliness and like all these dark feelings. They put it all on wax basically. So what I really appreciate about Have a Nice Life is just the way they are able to tell their struggles with mental health. It's very much grounded. Like they don't ever really sugarcoat what they're going through or what they're talking about, but they also are not afraid to present it with some whimsy or like some like mystique as well, you know. This album came with like a magazine detailing like a cult or something, I'm pretty sure. Or that might have been the Giles Corey album. I think this one came with the like cult magazine, whatever, right? Like they like to build this world around these topics they're presenting, and like if you listen to their music, they obviously have like some connections to like spirituality and like, you know, ghost and like things like that. So, but they always keep it grounded in like real human experiences. So, and I've taken a lot of the language they use to describe their struggles into my like own language when I try to describe my struggles with like a professional, you know, like a mental health care professional, or like with the, you know, just people who want to like ask me about my experiences. So it's not always easy finding a word, and it's incredible that these guys were able to put those feelings into words in a way that resonates so much with me. So this song in particular, Holy Fucking Shit 40,000, I think it's like a good entry point into what Have a Nice Life is about, because it's not as dark as like a lot of the other songs, in my opinion, at least. It deals with like the philosophy of like causal determinism, which is I got a definition over here. Let me take a look. From the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, causal determinism is the idea that every event is necessitated by antecedent events and conditions together with the laws of nature. So it kind of stands in direct opposition of like free will. Like the idea that we all have free will. It's the idea that everything, or well, let me let the song speak for itself, because the first line basically lays out what it's about. The first line of the song goes, "Everything you do is planned out in advance, and the stars push their dark wills down on you." Right? It's that idea that this was all meant to happen, you know. And when I'm thinking about like my own mental health struggles, like sometimes it does feel like that. It feels like everything was meant to happen for a reason, and sometimes people will say that positively, but you know, when you're going through a rough period in your life, that statement does not feel good. So like I really like how this song tackles that idea, you know. Other thing I really like about the song is how the title of the song is a reference to like Warhammer 40K, and then there's also a line in here about like, "Send me back in time, I'll bring us back in line, just tell me whose mother I have to kill," which is a reference to, you know, the Terminator. It makes all these allusions to like cyborgs and like robotic parts and stuff, but it's really like a metaphor for the defense mechanisms that we put up in order to protect ourselves, you know, protect ourselves from like trauma and things like that. But how those things can become an overcorrection and become toxic. Like in the chorus, it says, "And I've replaced my heart with metal parts, and I'm working out just fine, but I can't get it to start," you know? Like those defense mechanisms have become too much, you know, of an overcorrection. They're defending too much, even like the good parts, you know, in life, and everything just feels kind of numb. That's a very real experience. Like I said, these guys are great at giving you like these very real human emotions and putting it into words, but also like playing around with like a little bit of like whimsy and like mysticism with the way they convey the ideas. So yeah, I just think it's a great song. I think it's a great album, front to back. I love it. It's my baby. And that's song number 2 on the playlist. The next song is "Got Flicked," the Rebirth by Boldy James and Sterling Toles from Manger and McNichols. I genuinely think Manger and McNichols is in my personal top 5 favorite hip-hop albums of all time. I struggled with that thought for a while. Like, I thought maybe it was just like a recency bias thing for me, but I just come back to this album so much. Whenever I don't really know what to play, but I need like to listen to something for the extended amount of time, I'll just put this on and play it like front to back, and it's like near perfect front to back in my opinion. This album is like just about so much, right? It deals with like the prison industrial complex, you know, deals with the way that America has like abandoned some cities and left parts of America in like complete squalor and the effects that has on the people. In particular, this album is explicitly about Detroit, and because you know Boldy's from Detroit, and it's about his love for Detroit, but also like the scars that Detroit's placed on him. You know, this album is about like intergenerational trauma. You know, I think the climax of the album, or at least what I would consider the climax of the album, "Mommy Dearest," is Boldy actually stepping away from like all of the outside forces, the socioeconomic outside force, and actually talking about this interpersonal drama of his like mom like abandoning his family, and like how that changed his trajectory in life, really changed the outlook on life, like made him a more like heartless person. So, but I picked the song "Got Flicked" because I think it's like a microcosm of the whole album, like all those ideas, but presented in like a vastly different way than the other parts of the album. This song is like so triumphant, right? This song evokes imagery of like a soldier returning from battle, of like the prodigal son returning, you know. On like I believe it's Boldy's second verse, he talks about basically like putting on all the clothes and like accessories he had when he got booked to go to prison, like putting it all back on and going back to society. Let me actually grab those lyrics and we can like hear them. Boldy says, "Put on my street clothes, took off my county blues, put on my free throws, kicked off my shower shoes and threw my piece on, cut off my wristband and threw my freeze on, screw my earring in and threw my ring on, put on my C-frames, turn on my minute phone, cut on my next tail, threw my D fitted on. They call me King James Jones. It's written stone. All my concrete just getting it on. You know, like it's this triumphant moment, a guy surviving, and then that's followed by this like kind of outro interview. I'm not sure where it's from really. I don't think I've ever seen it cited, like where the clip is from, of this guy talking about surviving prison, how when he got out, the colors literally looked brighter, like reflections looked brighter, like life felt more, and he had to look back on it and realize he survived, you know. So, and then, but it's heartbreaking because this album is cyclical in a way, because this song is about a guy leaving prison and like triumphantly putting on all this stuff and like returning to society. But then the first track of the album, Medusa, is about a guy after he's left prison having to deal with the reality, like, you know, having bills to pay, things like that, and like having a kid on the way, and then trying to get a job. He goes and tries to get a job, but you know, he has jailhouse tattoos. The interviewer sees that, you know, he doesn't immediately reject them, but you know, he doesn't get a call back for the job either. So he has to go back on the block, you know, make ends meet, because life goes on and life happens, and you know, the prison system didn't give him any options post prison for reintegrating back into society. And the album happens again, you know. So I just think this album is like a modern masterpiece. I think if I had to pick an album from the songs selected on this playlist, if I had to tell you, go listen, if you like this song, go listen to the whole album, I would pick Manger on McNichols. The next song is Hot Lizard by Machine Girl from MG Ultra. I did not like Machine Girl when I first heard them. I think I first heard the Because I'm Young and Arrogant and Hate Everything You Stand For album. I don't know. Actually, I know what it was. I think it was just too hardcore for me. I like to think that I get experimental music, right? Like I can handle like some noisy music, right? I can handle some noisy rock and things like that. I think Machine Girl just like tested my limits and I just did not like it. But then randomly I heard the song Psychic Attack from this MG Ultra album, and it got me. Like I got it. I got the vision, and like this year, MG Ultra was my like most listened to album. Like put it up here or something, and I was like a top 1,000 like Machine Girl listener this year. I think the thing that really got me into the MG Ultra album, like, are the drums from Sean Kelly. I think they felt like more of a prominent feature than Because I'm Young and Arrogant and Hate Everything You Stand For. Which, side note, I went back and listened to that album. I love it now. Like, I am in the Machine Girl verse right now. I'm in the Machine Girl cinematic universe, the MCU, the MGCU. I'm in it. So, yeah, I think the drums really helped ground me in the chaos that is Machine Girl, and like made their art accessible to me. This song in particular, Hot Lizard, is about like, that's the other thing I really like about this album is the subject matter. It's about like online like culture and like online radicalization, conspiracy theories, and like people who engage with those. And then Machine Girls always had like a political bent to their songs. Like I believe that I saw like a really compelling theory that Grindhouse song is like a metaphor for like the housing market, how everyone, like how bad the housing market is, but we're just expected to take it, you know? So, but I really like the subject matter of the whole album about, you know, like just online culture, right? And this song in particular, Hot Lizard, is about that like lizard people conspiracy theory, which I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of, about how there are secretly like lizard people who control our society, which doesn't make any sense, and like why would that be the case? But they actually kind of engage with the like rationale of like why someone would believe like lizards control society. You know, with the first line of the song is there's like lack of control, the original sin. You know, like a lot of conspiracy theories play on the anxieties that people have around not having control. A lot of people feel adrift in society right now. You know, they feel like unmoored. There's lack of control, and like when people have that feeling, there are people who can then infiltrate those communities and then promote these like weird conspiracies about like lizard people. So I really love the like outro break on this song. I don't know if I want to say this. the outro break is kind of sexy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sexy. Like, the drums from Sean are like a little solo he gives is great, and then Matt's voice is like pitched up a little bit, and the lyrics are, here, let me pull the lyrics. The lyrics are, you got your truth and I got mine. You can make it up if you can't find it online. Don't trust me and don't trust your eyes. I could be a fucking lizard in a hot disguise. Like, it's almost like the lizard person is trying to raise them up a little bit. So I really love the outro break in this song, and it gets stuck in my head all the time. Like the doom, 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 doom. Another thing I just want to talk about with Machine Girl in general is that I love how much they lean into the fact that they make like digital art, right? They make digital hardcore. They lean into their medium. I've always loved it when artists lean into their medium. Like, I think of Van Gogh and the way he would just smudge like huge globs of paint all over his canvases. Basically made his like canvases into like topographical maps of paint. I love how Machine Girl leans into being a digital, making digital music, right? Like, there's glitches in there, sounds. Matt's voice will just like clip and break sometimes when he's screaming his head off. Like, it's fun. I just love that they lean into the fact that they make, digital art. Okay, the next song is the one, surprisingly, I want to talk about the most. I'm going to get on a little bit of a soapbox for this one. The next song is Pray You Die in Surgery by EST Gee from the Mad album. So, I think this song is a litmus test. I think this song is a litmus test for this. The litmus test is, do you listen to music or do you engage with music? Because I think people will hear this song, they'll hear the trap beat, right? They'll hear STG talking about like killing and money and drugs and stuff like that, and they'll just dismiss it, right? They'll just be like, oh, it's just a trap song. Like, this is the problem with hip hop music. They'll do that thing, right? But if you actually engage with what he's talking about, you'll find that this song is like the journal entry of a guy detailing all of his like worst fears and anxieties about the fucked up ass situation he lives in, about the death and destruction around him, and like what he has to do to protect his like family, and like his regrets of living in the situation he's in. And then taking it a step further, it's him confronting his God, a God that tells him killing is bad, a God that put him in this fucked up ass situation. He's confronting him and being like, hey, does it make me a bad person? Then if I pray to you to kill my enemies, right? If I pray to you and I pray for them to die in surgery, or does it make me a bad person if I want to kill them all before they kill me, right? That is a compelling ass song. And like, I'm not even really a big EST Gee listener. I find some shit he does very entertaining. But this song, when I heard it off of this album, it stuck with me. I think the album came out in 2023. I've still thought about it since then. And that's why I think this song is a litmus test for like, do you engage with music? And it's like, be further on this soapbox, right? There's so much discussion right now about hip hop dying, the state of hip hop. I think it's very nuanced what's going on in hip hop right now, right? I think most things in life is very nuanced. I've seen some great takes. Maybe I'll put like a little great take here or something. I've seen some awful takes. I've seen some shit that's like basically just respectability politics, like shit that Bill Cosby would have said, right? If you're agreeing with Bill Cosby on anything, probably want to like reevaluate your life. I think the reason why I want to talk about this song so much is that it reminded me of a different song. It reminded me of Vince Staples' North North. When that song came out, it was this viral moment that happened because this white lady, like basically, I think her son had the song on her playlist, or maybe it came on the radio. And like, if you never heard North North, it's a pretty like violent and gritty and dark song about Vince Staples talking about growing up in Northside Long Beach. And this white lady goes on the internet like crying about like how it's such a shame that her like son had to hear it and shit like that. She like starts reading the lyrics. It's crazy. Like, she don't censor herself at all. She say nigga like a million times. She's just going crazy. And at the time, like this is during like Vince's album rollout, like he's like at different radio shows and shit like that, like Ebro, Sway, things like that. And I don't remember if he made this point or someone commentating on the virality of the moment made this point, but I've always thought about it at this point since that happened, and like it's changed the way I kind of engage with trap. Basically, the point that was made was like, it's interesting that that lady would shed tears for like the fact that her white son had to hear these violent lyrics and hear this rhetoric, right? But she wouldn't shed tears for the fact that Vince Staples had to live that life in order to say those words with such like veracity, like to evoke the imagery that is so upsetting to her. Ever since I've heard that, I really thought about the why in media literacy, right? Like the voice of the author. Why did authors make certain pieces of art, right? And I think people don't give trap artists enough credit for their ability to put you into their lived experiences. I think this song by EST Gee is like one of the best examples of that. He puts you into the world he like grew up in and lived in, and then poses like a pretty philosophical question to you, like, is he a bad person? That's kind of my soapbox. I guess the last thing I want to say, like, I really want people to engage with music, not just listen to it. So I'll just ask you, like, maybe you think about this, but how is this song by EST Gee, how is Pray You Die in Surgery that much different than like the first verse of Sing About Me I'm Dying of Thirst from Kendrick Lamar? You know, like, I bet I said that and it probably like raised up, like made you raise your shoulders, maybe like some thoughts jump to your mind immediately. I want you to like interrogate those thoughts. Like I've got some thoughts about like I conceptually think they're both the same, but like I know why in my mind I have reasons why they're not the same, you know. But even if I start to interrogate those further, I realize like there's like a bias showing there, basically. So anyway, I'll get off the soapbox now. We can get to the next song. All right, I gotta get through the next couple songs a little quickly because I gotta go get a haircut. So next one is Girls Like Drugs by Paris, Texas, from the Red and Akimbo EP. I really put this one here just because I think more people need to listen to Paris, Texas. I think they're an element of hip hop that we've been missing. Although I don't really want to box them into hip hop, they do way too much shit. They just be called hip hop. But I think we're kind of missing just like the fun hip hop, right? Like growing up, early 2000s, right? Early to mid 2000s. I remember so many like artists like a Missy Elliott, a Busta Rhymes, a Ludacris, right? Who they just made like fun, like party music, basically. Not even just like party music, like shit you can throw around like anyone. And like maybe you need to put on the clean version, right? If some kids are around, you just put it on and just have a good time, fun music. That's not to discredit those artists, because those artists I just named were super talented. Like Busta Rhymes is like one of the best rappers of all time. If you don't acknowledge that, like argue with the wall. So same thing with Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott was one of the best of all time. Ludacris is like a southern rap staple, like a legend. So it's not that like discredit them as saying like, oh, they just made just fun shit. But I think that like space for just like fun shit rap is missing a little bit. I think Paris, Texas in some ways like fills that niche for me, right? I do love their like deeper cuts when they want to get a little more introspective. Like, God, I can't remember the outro of Midair right now. I can't remember the name of it, but that outro song almost made me cry. So they can be like introspective and be a little deeper when they want to, but I just love it when they're having fun because these guys' energy is infectious. It really just is. That's also why I think they kind of do like the rap rock thing they got going on, is they just want to inject energy into hip hop, and they are doing it very, very well. So I just want to put that song in here, Girls Like Drugs. The song is also really funny. I think these guys are really funny. They are absurdists in their humor, but this song has like a few good bars, like that one that's like she got that brand new crib off of OnlyFans. Nigga rap, but his homies are his OnlyFans. Like that's crazy. These guys are just funny, and their energy is just infectious, so they have to be on this playlist somewhere. They were also like, I think they were my like 2024 top listened to artists, or maybe Midair is my most listened to album, but this isn't from Midair, so it doesn't even matter. Anyway, the next one is A Greater Love by Yves Tumor. I believe it's pronounced Yves Tumor. I saw a comment somewhere that said it's pronounced that way. From Heaven to a Tortured Mind. I put this one here because Yves is just insanely talented, and I just want like a third, a fifth, an eighth of the talent they have. It blows my mind how talented Yves is. This song reminds me of just like the best of like when Rick James was just rolling off whatever drugs he was rolling off of, like playing like the funkiest shit you ever heard, just going crazy. But at least like instrumentally it reminds me of stuff like that. like very psych rock, like very psychedelic. But Yves' songwriting is also just beautiful. Yves is such a good songwriter. The way they describe like their love for this other person is like so sexy, so beautiful. I wish I had an ounce of the poetry that Yves has. And then in the second half, they flip it and they're talking about how this person deserves a greater love than them. It's like, ah, Yves, this is so good. And then it's the outro. The album is like, I want more album. But this is so good. But yeah, that's why I put this song here. I just think it's so good. It's so beautiful. It's so sexy. Shout out Yves Tumor. Listen to Yves Tumor if you haven't. They're so talented. Okay, last song I want to talk about is going to be from a man who needs no introduction. Last song is going to be World's End Rhapsody by Nujabes from Modal Soul. I don't even know what I could say about Nujabes, which hasn't already been said before. God, how sentimental and sappy am I going to get right now? Nujabes, his music makes me nostalgic for a childhood I never lived, right? His music makes me nostalgic for like playing by a riverside, trying to catch like dragonflies on like a hot, sticky summer, right? He just had this way with pulling you into his world just through beats that was like insane and transcendent. And there's a reason why he is so like well regarded and loved, and why people still remember his art way after his passing. And how he was so prolific without actually being that prolific. Like Nujabes doesn't even really have that much music out, which is like the even sadder part, is we didn't even get that much from him, but he gave us a lot still. This song in particular, World's End Rhapsody, it reminds me so much of like everything J Dilla was doing on Donuts. How like I think they both have a very uncanny ability to tell a story just through beats. Like in Dilla's case on Donuts, he was basically saying goodbye and like saying that how he loved his like loved ones. Like literally, he made the album on his deathbed. Saying goodbye to his loved ones, saying how much he loved them. Through songs like Time, Don't Know the Heart, and like his love for just music. I think Nujabes does a very similar thing on Modal Soul. Just his love for music, his love for like the genre he was kind of pioneering. His love for hip hop. It all comes through, especially on this song, World's End Rhapsody. Especially the way the sample kind of like eases in and out of the song. You can't really always make out what it's saying, but the part you can make out is that I love you. I think that I love you part is Nujabes saying like he loves music, he loves creation, he loves this thing he's doing, So yeah, I am just blessed to have lived in a post Nujabes world, right? I'm blessed to have lived after he like made stuff so that it could bless my ears, Last thing I want to say is I debated putting a different song on here. The other song I was going to put is Music Is Mine. I think something we can all take away from that is cherishing the moments in your life that you can make yours, right? In that statement, I don't think Nujabes was trying to make a statement that music is his, right? That he owns music. And like maybe he was trying to say he was the greatest ever. I don't know. I didn't know the guy personally, right? But I think the statement he was trying to get across is that like you have to like take space in your life, and you have to take the little moments and make them yours. Whether it's like your morning coffee, that moment where it's just you up and no one else is, that's yours, and no one can take that away from you. So I encourage everyone to think about those moments in their lives and try to find something like that. It's crazy. Nujabes got me to that idea and got me to bring that point here, and that's how powerful his music is. So yeah, that's the last song I want to talk about for this playlist. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the playlist as well. There's some gems in there. I wish I could just sit here and yap about I think it's 22 songs on the playlist, but then I'll be here forever. Let me know what you guys think about the playlist. Like I said, you have any recommendations or things like that. I'll be coming back with a math video maybe in like 2 weeks. I really want to make it better than my last one, so I want to get better with each video. And this video in particular was, me practicing my ability just to speak off the cuff. I didn't script anything I said. I just let it all flow through me. I have like little notes here and there. But so next video, I'm hoping, I'm gonna write another script for it and everything, do some research, and I hope it's even better than the last one. So thank you guys for sticking around, and Happy New Year's. I'll see you in the future. I'm back, post haircut. That's dumb as hell. I realized while I was getting my haircut, I didn't actually say where you can find the playlist. It will be on Apple Music. You can look up Post Grad Burnout Megamix. I think you might even be able to look up my name. It should be live when this video comes out. I don't have a Spotify account or anything, so if you guys really want it up there, like, I guess I could put it up there. Or if someone wants to just take the track list, put it up there themselves, feel free to do so. But yeah, I will catch you guys later.